Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a story of a man who did this when he found out his wife has been cheating on him with a coworker. Here's the full story with 3 updates. Throwaway account. Found out that my wife, 30 female, of 2 years cheated on me, 51 male. And I really don't know what to do. For the past few months, everything has been weird in our relationship. The sex has been less frequent. She always turns me away when I initiate sex because she's tired or she's not feeling it. Then she started coming home late from work and lying to me about coming home earlier. Sometimes, I would come home early to spend time with her, only to find the babysitter with our 17-month-old son. She would act surprised and tell me she forgot to let me know she was busy at work. I immediately knew she was cheating on me. I didn't bother checking her phone but just let it go on until I decided to hire a PI to confirm my suspicions. It took him less than a week to find her meeting up with a man in a parking lot and having sex with him in the brand new car that I bought her for her birthday. I confronted her and she came clean about everything. It turns out her affair partner is a coworker, and they've been having a physical affair for the past 4 months. She was very apologetic, screaming, crying, and asked me to forgive her several times. She said she was going to end it, but she was scared and didn't know how. I decided it was best for her to stay somewhere else until I make up my mind about what the next step will be. I also took the car that she was having sex with her affair partner in, as it was in my name, and she's very mad about that. I had to tell her if she takes my car without my permission, I will call the police on her. I also found out while going through credit card report that she faked a work trip and took AP on vacation with my hard-earned money. I just don't know why this is happening. I know I'm older than her, and I've always done everything I can to make her happy, to be there for her. I know I'm not perfect, but I don't think I deserve any of this. At this point, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of for everything that I've given her. It's hard for me to finally see that everyone who warned me about marrying my wife was probably right. I've worked really hard for the past 30 years to get to where I am in my life right now. I went through a nasty divorce 15 years ago, and here I go again. I guess the only good things that I got out of this are my son and a solid prenup. Edit. I talked to my wife and she confessed that a P is younger than me and wanted her to leave me for him. I took your suggestions. I will DNA test my son and get an STD test. I will also be talking to HR. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to respond to my previous posts. I have DNA tested my son and he is indeed mine. This is probably the only good news I've had in the past few weeks. I have started the divorce process and my wife has been served. While I feel that divorce is the only right option, I can't help but feel guilty for doing this to my son. My wife continues to ask me for another chance, but I'm not sure how to proceed or if that's what I want. She's not taking any accountability for her actions and has blamed me for the affair. She then switched to the "it was only sex" excuse and is asking me to forgive her because she was after something I wasn't willing to provide. The sex she was having with AP was a 2 to 3 times a week thing during 4 months. I have reached a point where I am very angry with myself for still being in love with this woman, despite how much she has hurt me and how her cheating is tearing our family apart. Although I have started the divorce process, I am still unsure of what I'm going to do. Have any of you stayed in a relationship with a cheater because you didn't want to break up the family? Forgot to mention, her and AP got fired and she's currently looking for a job. I wanted to edit the post to say that I took so long to update. A lot went down the last couple of days. My wife have been having some health issues during all of this, and I had to fight myself not to be there for her during all of this. I feel so horrible for that. But she's okay now. Some info about AP, he is single, and my wife said he wanted her to divorce me for him. But she only wanted sex. She loves me and that's why she never wanted to. My daughter has been babysitting her little brother when my wife has custody of our son. I realized that my daughter was hiding something from me. Later, she told me that my wife is pregnant. Apparently, she found out a couple of weeks ago but didn't want to speak up because she didn't think it was her place. Of course, I confronted my wife about the situation and demanded a paternity test because I'm not sure if the child is mine or not. Based on the timeline she provided, there's a good chance it might be mine. Obviously, I asked for a paternity test since my wife is still covered under my insurance. I don't think it's fair for me to be responsible for her medical bills if I'm not the father. However, she has refused to take the test at the moment. I told her that she will not receive my support if she doesn't take a paternity test, and I will remove her from my health insurance. She made it clear that she will not be getting any paternity test done, and she'll inform me once the baby is born to arrange for the test. It's just sad how she's choosing to weaponize this situation to hurt me when she's the one who broke up our marriage in the first place. I got myself into a terrible situation that I don't know how to deal with. Edit, my wife agreed to take the paternity test. I will give an update once I have the result. Just wanted to give a quick update. She took the paternity test, and it confirmed that I am the father. I am surprised that it turned out to be mine since she initially didn't want to take the test. We had a conversation, and I informed her that the divorce will still proceed as our state allows it. However, I expressed my desire to be there for her and to be involved, especially during doctor appointments. Unfortunately, she doesn't want me to be involved and stated that my presence is causing her stress. She believes I should leave her to handle things on her own. I don't want to make it all about myself, but she is completely excluding me. Has anyone else gone through a divorce while their soon-to-be ex-wife was pregnant? How can you provide support while still proceeding with the divorce? OP, the fact that your wife agreed to take the paternity test and it confirmed that you are the father provides clarity on that front. However, the situation becomes more complex as your wife expresses a desire for you not to be involved during the pregnancy. Navigating a divorce while one party is pregnant can be challenging. It's essential to communicate openly about your intentions, concerns, and desires for involvement. It's clear that your wife prefers to handle things on her own, citing stress caused by your presence. In such a situation, it's important to respect her wishes while also finding a balance that ensures you can fulfill your responsibilities as a father. Consider discussing this matter with your attorney to explore legal options that allow you to provide financial and emotional support without causing undue stress. Every divorce situation is unique, and seeking legal advice and perhaps engaging in mediation may help establish a plan that considers both parties' needs and the well-being of the child. It's a challenging time for both of you, and seeking support from friends, family, or a therapist can be beneficial as you navigate the complexities of divorce and impending parenthood. Open communication and a focus on the child's best interests will be crucial moving forward. Good luck and stay strong. I'm new here, so sorry for the long-winded post. About a month ago I returned from a deployment and was told by my best friend that my wife and him were having sex while I was gone. I was gone for about 2 months and I figured out that they had sex about 5 to 7 times, not including the times they did oral or cuddled on the couch, in the time frame. It started around a month after I was gone. Then they cut it off the next month and had a last interaction within the week before I came back. Backstory: my ex-best friend is going through a divorce and the wife and I decided to help him out and allow him to live in our home. She claims she didn't have feelings or think he was even attractive until after I was gone. He was living with us for about 4 to 5 months beforehand and she would sometimes make fun of the way he looked at times. At least that was my only indication that she didn't find him attractive. Back to the story. So he ended up pulling me away from the house about 4 days after me returning. And we drove around and told me he was sorry for doing what he did, and proceeded to tell me that he tested positive for chlamydia, possibly from another girl he had sex with recently, and told me that we needed to get tested. We did get tested and everything came back negative. I immediately began to think I need to fix this. I need to know how my wife feels, and I need to know why she thought that she needed to cheat on me. That night was an incredibly rough night. I didn't sleep that night because my mind was just racing. I confronted her about it the next day after she dropped our 2 kids off at daycare. We need to talk about how you and X had sex. Her response was, "What? I don't know what you're talking about," and I replied, "He told me everything. I know it happened." She said that tramp. We had our conversation about the why, when, how, and her response was that she didn't think she loved me anymore and felt no remorse at the time. She said that she thought I was cheating while I was deployed and decided that she would get back at me by having sex with my best friend. Since I had returned, she fell back in love and was just hoping to forget about it ever happening. She said that before I returned that she had a plan of leaving me, but once I was back, she didn't want to play it out anymore. We both agreed that we still wanted to stay with each other and try to make things work. We kicked AP out of the house, and things were seemingly going good until last week where I realized that my wife didn't want to prioritize trying to help me through my emotional trauma. I had already started IC a couple days after D-Day, and she didn't seem to want to go for herself. She told me that I was putting too much on her plate. I broke down crying in front of her and had an extreme amount of thoughts that I'm being stupid and I should just quit. She didn't realize that I was having an extremely rough time because I'm usually smiling or not really showing much emotion at all. She didn't realize that I've been so hurt. I told her that I'm just constantly thinking about it and I wish I could just make it stop. Things again seem to be going good. We just really good for each other. and she has very frequent anger issues that I know how to deal with at this point. I feel like I need to ask a question, so here it is. Did anyone else's WS think that things were just okay, and felt they can just continue on with regular life without feeling the need to do anything else for themselves? I ask this question because I was really hurt that she didn't take things seriously and thought that we can just move past it with time. I'm kind of in a weird area and I'm not sure if it's normal. My wife cheated on me about 3 months ago, and D-Day for me was a little over a month ago. I've had a rough time recovering, but my wife and I had a long, deep conversation about how she cheated, how she felt, and why it just won't happen again. It wasn't the first time we had this conversation, but this one felt extremely genuine and real. Probably the most real conversation we've ever had together. She cried about how terrible she feels about her cheating and that she thinks about it every day, and it destroys her inside that she made me feel unloved. The conversation continued on from there, of course, and I seriously feel like I've recovered. My triggers are not really a thing anymore, and I feel like I'm able to trust her, albeit I still want to keep my guard up. Is this even possible? I feel like we're making good progress doing more for each other. She's read a book about helping me get through this struggle, and I've actually gone 2 days now without feeling worried or losing my mind or even getting triggered. Not even slightly. I feel fantastic. Is this something that's too good to be true? My wife cheated on me with my best friend 4 months ago. D-Day was in December. I only ever found out in December because I was deployed during the time she cheated. Needless to say, our relationship was rocky, and it was my friend that told me they had sex while I was gone. I don't hate my wife for that, because if I put myself in her shoes, I would have probably just done the same and not tell her I cheated. Someone else would need to tell her. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I hate and miss my friend dearly. I'm not a person that has tons of really close friends, and finding out that he slept with my wife was the biggest heartache I've ever been through in my life. Being torn down twice by 2 people I've trusted everything with was tremendous. At any rate though, my wife and I have, for the most part, reconciled. Every day I think about it, but I don't get angry anymore. I've accepted and come to terms with it, and am past snooping through her phone and all that good stuff. I want my life back again. I didn't do anything wrong, and the missus and I have done a lot to change up the relationship to where things somewhat feel fresh. My buddy was the closest friend I've ever had, and I feel like that just won't happen again. My wife hates him for telling me, but should I even consider her feelings if she tells me she doesn't want me to be friends with him? I'm not necessarily at a crossroads, but I have a feeling that if I'm ever to move on for good, I need regain what was lost. Should I befriend my WWSAP again? Does anyone have any type of experience like this? It's extremely apparent that I'm pretty much a mess. I don't know how to think properly anymore, and things that seem so concrete to me just aren't, because of the staggering nature of infidelity. Throughout my life, I've always been the type to stop and think if there's something I'm unsure of. Since D-Day, I've just been going off gut feeling and not really thinking much beforehand. In my last post, I was lost again, although at the time, the things I said seemed so real. The truth of the matter is I'm absolutely rug sweeping. I've done a lot of thinking about why I said I wanted to befriend AP again, and in reality, I just wish I could go back in time before WW cheated and my life was normal to me. I'm having an extremely hard time not rug sweeping because I just wish so badly that none of this happened. Again, I want to thank this community for being so helpful and making me realize my faults. I don't want you all to discredit any of my future posts because of how off the wall they'll probably be. Just know that I'm trying to get through this. My recovery has been more or less good the past month. D-Day was early December, but my WW doesn't do much in terms of helping around the house like laundry, dishes, and cleaning. This has become a big issue to me, and I'm beginning to feel like she just wants me to stick around because I do all the household chores. She gets rather angry if I do the laundry wrong or things like that. I told her a couple days ago that it's not fair that I get cheated on and decide to reconcile with her, but I get to live in fear of her leaving me if I don't make her happy. After telling her that, I feel like my eyes are open and that she doesn't deserve me. I've been distancing myself slowly and getting into a mindset that I don't need her. I've been kinda getting excited for the single life after being together for 9 years, but I really don't know what I want anymore. She's noticed that I've been distancing myself slightly, and she asked me to tell her how I'm feeling. I said I feel like I'm just falling out of love with you. After saying that, she's been crying every day and apologizing for ruining us, and has finally began to do some chores. Recently, I've just been feeling emotionally numb. When she is crying to me, I don't feel bad for her. I don't really care much if she's sad. I understand that she does want me in her life, but right now I just don't care much for what she thinks and wants. I've become kind of oblivious to things lately, and I can't tell if she's really being remorseful, or simply trying to get me to stick around. She says life would suck without me in it, but she didn't even want to try and reconcile until I broke down crying to her a month ago. I feel like this is a similar situation as the last because she doesn't decide to help me reconcile until I do something first, like break down or distance myself. OP. It's important to recognize that rebuilding trust after infidelity is a multifaceted process that involves both partners actively working towards healing the relationship. The issue of household chores and the feeling that she might be taking you for granted adds another layer of complexity to the situation. It's crucial for both partners to contribute to the relationship in a way that feels fair and balanced, and communication is key in addressing these concerns. Couples counseling might be a valuable option to explore together. A neutral third party can help facilitate open communication, address underlying issues, and guide both of you in the process of rebuilding trust and connection. While it's understandable that you might be feeling a desire for independence, it's also important to communicate your needs and feelings with clarity. If you're uncertain about the path forward, consider seeking individual counseling to explore your emotions and gain insight into what you truly want and need at this stage. Ultimately, the decision to continue with the relationship or pursue a different path is a deeply personal one. It may be helpful to take the time to reflect on your own values, needs, and priorities, and to communicate openly with your wife about your feelings and concerns. Good luck and stay strong. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you really like my videos, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.